It's true that characters in Spanish folklore are strange to say the least. They do, however, attempt to explain the unknown the same way as most legends do. However, there are always morals behind them, so today on Top 5 Scary Videos, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 most terrifying creatures from Spanish folklore. Before we begin though, I just want to give a big shout out to our video sponsor Raid. Raid is one of the top 3 ranked RPG games on the Google Play Store, and not only that, it has just been nominated as a finalist for Google Play's 2019 Users' Choice Award for Best Game. Now if you don't believe me, as of right now the game has 15 million downloads in just the last 6 months, which is absolutely insane. So what exactly is Raid? Well, it's an epic dark fantasy in which you can collect and personally customize up to 400 champions. But the very best part? It's free to play. Saying that, there are some great things you need to know before going in. Every month there are up to 16 brand new characters. Not just that, but there are progression rewards, and once you complete the missions, you will get one of the best legendary champions, the Arbiter. So head over to the video description below, click on the special link, and as a new player you'll get 100,000 silver, plus 2 clan boss keys, 10 mystery shards, and 1 free champion, Executioner. All this treasure is waiting for you here, and the rewards are only available for the next 30 days. Good luck. Once again, thank you to Raid for sponsoring this video. Also, before we begin, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. And with that, let's jump in. Coming in at number 5, El Coco. The Coco, also known as the Cuco and Coca, is a mythical ghost monster equivalent to the boogeyman and can be considered a version of the bugbear, as it is a commonly used figure of speech representing an irrational or exaggerated fear. The Coco is a male being, however the Cuca is a female version of the creature. Now in Spain, Portugal, and Latin America, parents sometimes invoke the Coco or Cuca as a way of discouraging their children from misbehaving. They will sing lullabies or tell rhymes to warn their children that if they don't obey their parents, Coco will come and get them and eat them. Serves them right. I quote, "Sleep child, sleep now, else Coco comes and will eat you." However, it is not the way Coco looks that scares children, but what it does. Like I said, it is a child eater and a kidnapper. It may immediately devour the child, leaving no trace, or it may spirit the child away to a place of no return. But it only does this to disobedient children, which is a damn shame. It represents the opposite of a guardian angel and is frequently compared to the devil. There is no general depiction of the Coco as far as facial or body descriptions, but it is stated that this shape-shifting being is terrifying to look at, often described as a shapeless figure, sometimes a hairy monster that hides in closets or under beds and eats children that misbehave when they are told to go to bed. Coming in at number 4, El Duende. A duende is a creature hailing from Spanish folklore that is reportedly somewhat human, with the term duende translating to possessor of a house, and was originally conceptualized as a mischievous spirit inhabiting a house. Now in some cultures, duendes are believed to be helpers of people who get lost in the forest so they can find their way home. However, in some legends, duendes are known as gnome-like creatures who live inside the walls of homes, especially in the bedroom walls of young children. Always comes back to the children. They then attempt to clip the toenails of unkempt children, often leading to the mistaken removal of an entire toe. Now the belief in duende are mostly found in the mossy cloud forests and mountain ranges. Like I said before though, the legend varies throughout different cultures, with some describing the duende as beings of small stature wearing big hats, whistling a mystical song while walking in the forest. Using their talent, they then lure young boys and girls to the forest, resulting in them losing their way home. Coming in at number 3, El Chupacabra. The Chupacabra is a legendary creature in Spanish folklore, with its name coming from the animal's reported habit of attacking and drinking the blood of livestock, including goats. Now its description, like most legends, varies slightly. It is purported to be a heavy creature the size of a small bear, with a row of spines reaching from the neck to the base of the tail. Some eyewitness sightings have been reported as far north as Maine and as far south as Chile, and even being spotted in countries like Russia and the Philippines. The first attack occurred in March 1995 when 8 sheep were discovered dead, each with 3 puncture wounds in the chest area and reportedly drained of blood. A few short months later, an eyewitness reported seeing the creature in the town of Canavanas, where as many as 150 farm animals and pets were reportedly killed. In 1975, similar killings in the small town of Mocha were attributed to El Vampiro de Mocha, aka the Vampire of Mocha. Initially it was suspected that the killings were committed by a satanic cult. Later more killings were reported around the island, and many farm's reported loss of animal life, in turn leading them to believe the Chupacabra had something to do with it. Now, the most common description of Chupacabra is that of a reptile-like creature, said to have leathery or scaly greenish-grey skin and sharp spines or quills running down its back. Another common description of the Chupacabra is of a strange breed of wild dog. This form is mostly hairless and has pronounced spinal ridge, usually pronounced eye sockets, fangs, and claws. Coming in at number 2, El Silbón. El Silbón, also known as the Whistler, is a legendary figure in Spanish folklore, associated typically with Los Lolanos, described as a lost soul. The legend first arose sometime in the middle of the 19th century. According to legend, the spirit is a youth who murdered and disemboweled his father for killing his wife, saying that she was a slut and that she was asking for it. Afterwards, his grandfather ordered the youth to be tied to a post in the middle of the countryside and lashed him until his back was destroyed. His wounds were then cleaned with alcohol and he was released to 2 rabid, starving dogs. However, before he was released, his grandfather condemned him to carry the bones of his father for all eternity. Now, the legend has a characteristic whistle, and it is said that when the whistling sounds close, there's no danger and the whistler is far away, but when the whistling sounds distant, it means it is nearby. It is also said that hearing the whistling foretells your own death, and you can hear it anywhere at any time. If you find yourself in that situation, the only thing that can save you is the sound of a barking dog, as it is the only thing the spirit is afraid of, that and the whip. The Whistler is also known to seek revenge on womanizers, so watch out. Now, the description has changed over time, with some versions saying that it appears as a giant of about 6 meters that moves about the treetops creaking and emitting its chilling whistle. The legend also states that the Whistler can appear by a house on certain nights, drop his sack on the ground and count the bones of his victims one by one. If no one hears it, nothing will happen, but if someone does hear it before dawn, one member of the family will never wake up. And finally, coming in at number 1, El Basilisco Chilote. The Basilisco Chilote is a creature from Spanish folklore that is described as having the crest of a rooster and the body of a serpent. According to its legend, it is hatched from an egg that is incubated by a rooster and lives in a hole which it digs under a home. It then feeds on the phlegm and saliva of the people living inside the home, causing the inhabitants to dehydrate and eventually die. How terrifying is that? However, don't fret, there is a way to kill the Basilisco Chilote. In order to do so, you must burn the egg as soon as it is laid and kill the chicken that laid the egg, to prevent further eggs from being laid. Once hatched, the only way to destroy it is by burning down the entire home where it lives. A little extreme, but honestly better than dying via dehydration because some little cretin is sipping on your excess spit. The myth itself is also based upon legends of Coca-Cola and the Basilisk, but seems to borrow more from the tradition of the cockatrice, which is a mythical beast, essentially a 2-legged dragon or serpent creature with rooster's head. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any scary creatures from Spanish folklore that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos. Top 5 scary signals from outer space. Whiskey Brewer said, the fact that we know more about space than our own oceans still terrifies me, and we know even less about our pale goddess. Kneel, fellow Lucifers. Ain't that the truth? You'll never know anything about me. Because I'm nothing. Beezer1225 said, the content I already knew brought me to this channel. It's the content I didn't even know existed that keeps me coming back. You've taught me so much, Miss McPhee. Thank you. You're welcome, but please don't ever call me Miss McPhee again. That makes me sick. Am I too rude to them? And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And thank you once again to our video sponsor Raid. And until next time, see you later.